Hello, hello, hello. Dr. T here, Evergreen. How are we doing with our weekly counselor message? Know what I want to talk about? This is something that's important because it doesn't just apply to just being an elementary student. It doesn't just apply to being a middle school student. It doesn't apply to just being a high school student or even as an adult. This is for everyone. The thing I want to talk about this week is accepting responsibility. Accepting responsibility. What is that? Accepting responsibility is recognizing that your actions, your words, things you may have said, things you might have wrote, anything that you were the one who did it, and it impacted either you in a way, your classroom in a way, your parents, your siblings, yourself, and especially in a negative fashion, sometimes we are held to consequences. Consequences are what are imposed or put upon us when maybe we've made a poor choice, said something wrong, not been nice. We are being held accountable for our decisions. That means we should accept responsibility for what we say and or do. What I notice at times here in students is they do not want to accept responsibility. Let me give you a couple examples. Let's say your teacher is up at the board and she's teaching the class, and she noticed you're talking while she's talking. Should you be doing this? So let's say the teacher is giving you a warning to not do it. And the teacher turns around and you still talking while they're talking. The teacher says, okay, we're going to give you a consequence. You're going to be held accountable. And then you want to get sad. And then you want to get mad. Should you get mad or sad because your teacher is giving you a warning and you kept talking and now they're being held accountable and you need to be responsible for your choices? That's your fault. And this is how we learn. We learn from being held accountable. We learn from being responsible for our choices. Give you another example. Let's say your mom or dad keep telling you, go clean that room. And then they go check and the room's not clean. They said, all right, I'm going to give you one more chance to go clean that room. And they go check and the room is still not clean. Now you have a consequence. You know why? You're responsible for that room. And mom or dad said go clean it. You didn't go clean it. So should you be mad or sad that you're being held accountable for something that you're responsible for? Another example. You're outside of recess. You get mad because your team is losing. So you take the ball, you throw the ball over the fence because you're mad. You're being a sore loser. You've messed up the game for everyone. And now the teacher or the principal or the school counselor or one of the adults has to come over and hold you accountable. You're responsible for your poor decision and throwing the ball over the fence. Should you be mad at the teacher? Should you be mad at the students who went and told the teacher that you threw the ball over the fence? Be responsible. You're being held accountable for your poor choice. That's on you. Another example. Video games. You guys be typing a lot of things into those messages. We see some of those messages. Some of those messages we see are not good messages. They're not nice messages. So if you're in these messages and you say something negative about someone, or if you say something mean about someone, or even worse, you tell a lie on someone, and the parents or the adults come to find out that you were the one being mean, talking about, lying on someone, and they go to address you and hold you accountable for your poor decision. Should you be mad at the adult? Should you be mad at the teacher? Should you be mad about the people in the chat that you were talking about who reported it? Who should you be mad at? Some of the older kids using poor language, and then you get told on. Should you be mad at the person who told on you, or should you be mad at yourself because you chose to not think smartly and you chose to use poor language and someone else chose to let an adult know and that adult chose to hold you accountable? You should be in trouble. Why would you be out there talking like that? Be accountable. Be responsible. Own your behavior. There's nothing worse, not just in children, but adults also. If you know you've done something and you've been called on the carpet and you're being held accountable and you're now going to have a consequence, own it. Accept it. You deserve it. It's your fault. Evergreen. Let's do a better job of when we know we're wrong or we've been pointed out to show how we're wrong. You shouldn't get mad and make your day worse. You shouldn't get mad and shut down. You shouldn't get mad and put your head down and make more poor choices, because you'll have consequences for those also. Be responsible for what you say, for what you do, for what you write, for what you post, for what you pass along, for what you whisper. All of it. Gotta stop getting mad for when you know you were wrong or it was pointed out to you that you were wrong. Don't be mad at the source. Be mad at yourself and then be better. If we have to tell you something in kindergarten and you're held accountable, and then we have to tell you something again, the same thing in first grade, and be held accountable. And then we have to tell you something again in second grade for the same stuff we talked to you about in kindergarten and the same stuff we talked to you about in first grade, and you still doing the same thing, you're not learning from your mistakes. That's what being accountable is. You have to learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes, adults as well as children. The goal is to learn from the mistakes. So when you're held accountable, don't be mad at the consequence. Think of it as a lesson, and you are going to learn what you should and should not do. Be responsible for your actions. That is the charge of the day. All right, Dr. T, I'm out. I'll talk to you next week.